something kind of fun happened this morning. So that was cool. Finally, we got an acknowledgement that an announcement for GTA 6 will be announced. So we have an announcement for an announcement, which is kind of hilariously stupid, but that's just where we are now. Is that for these really big games, you get an announcement that we're going to have an announcement, which will announce the game that is not yet out. Probably won't even get a release date that means anything. But early December, we should be getting some clear news as to GTA 6. Now, somebody was asking, like, do they announce GTA 6 at the Game Awards? That's one where I honestly am not sure. I think they could. I don't think they need to. And honestly, if Jeff Keighley has any sense, I don't think it would be fair to everything else in the show that gets announced if GTA 6 is announced there, like the trailer is dropped there. Because let's be honest, nobody's going to talk about anything else. If they announce like, oh, look at this, we have an exciting new game from the team behind Psychonauts 2, like it's just going to be drowned out by GTA 6 articles and stuff. So I hope they announce it like December 1st or 2nd, give it like a week to be the center of attention, and then we get the next stuff. That's what I hope is the case. But I guess we'll see. Fingers crossed, right?
Stefan Konstantin dummy trick is now a red flag. Rockstar claims GTA 6 will revolutionize entertainment. Do you think they will integrate streaming services straight in the game? Like Spotify Radio?
I have a sneaking suspicion that might happen. I wouldn't be surprised if they did that, because one of the things with a lot of these games, and I'll get to your super chat as well, Kinemansky, in just a second. If you guys remember, I think it was Mafia 2. Mafia 2 had some amazing music in it when it launched. Like we're talking OG, like Elvis tracks from the like 50s, early 50s. They had some amazing music as you're like driving around in the city, and it was just great. But they ran into a little bit of an oopsie where a lot of the licenses for their music expired because the game came out in like 2010, 2011 or something. Maybe even earlier, maybe like 2007. I don't know. But the game came out like a decade ago, and so a lot of the music licenses expired. So they had to send out a patch to strip out the music from the game because they didn't have the licenses for it anymore. And so a lot of people ended up like manually unchecking auto update in their console settings and on Steam for it and stuff because they didn't want the music removed because the licenses expired. And the same thing happened also I think I'm thinking actually Mafia 3. Because Mafia 3 is set in the 60s. I'm pretty sure that's what it is. But yeah, Mafia 3 got an update, had all of the music stripped out that was copyrighted that they lost the licenses for. So if GTA 6 can come along and just give you like, make it so you have to sign into Spotify and then you're playing Spotify, like when you select a speaker for the app to play, you just select GTA 6 or GTA, whatever they call it. That could be cool. I mean, it would suck for people that don't have premium, like yeah, I mean it would suck because then you're playing a game that you paid presumably $70 for, and you'd have to listen while you're listening to music, listening to actual ads play through Spotify, which would be a little toxic, but whatever. GTA is one of those games, and I'm convinced that if you have certain games that are just really, really good, people will forgive pretty much anything. Like as long as the game is amazing, people will look past all the other crap that goes along with it. Nintendo, best example. They are objectively a pretty slimy company. Like they screw over their creators, they screw over their community, they make it like no other company does this, where they have the Nintendo Creator Program thing, where if you want to post gameplay footage or reviews and stuff of their games, you have to sign up for this program, and then they'll do you the favor of not striking your content. They'll share the revenue with you, which, how is that any different than like a mafia boss? Topical, right? A mafia boss coming along and being like, hey, if you pay your dues, I won't have to break your legs. I'm being very generous right now. If you give me the money, I won't have to break your legs. It's like, well, could you just not take my money and also not break my legs? No, that's not how it works, man. That's not how it works. Like, Nintendo's horrible, but the games they make are great, so everybody just kind of forget about it. Because whatever, just shut up. You know? Yeah, I think some companies can get away with that. The other thing they could get away with, bringing back Kinomansky's super chat. Thank you for the 279 Canadian. Do you think Take-Two will price GTA 6 at $80? Thanks for existing. Thank you for existing, my friend. I think what they probably do, $70 for the standard, but I think what they do is they do like a 5-day early access, like a big early access for the $120 edition. And let's be honest, a ton of people are going to pay that. Like, so many people are going to do that. That's what I think. So I think they'll do the standard edition. So then they're like, see, we did the standard. It's great. Because one of the other things that came to my attention is apparently some companies like Xbox and PlayStation, they have recommended MSRP, or I guess just MSRP because it's market suggested retail price. So they have their MSRP guidelines, and some of these stores, there's a question in certain jurisdictions if you would actually be allowed, according to the policies of the stores, to sell a game for more than what their MSRP is. I don't know if that's true. That's just what I read in an article about pricing on games on some of these markets in outside districts, like in certain areas in Asia or South America. There's problems with that. But let's be honest, as far as I understand it, there's no guidelines or limitations on how you can price additional tiers of games, but you have to have the standard edition land at a certain spot. So if that's the case, and that is an actual kind of restriction they're facing, just do the standard edition at 70 and then come in and offer 5-day early access or a week early access, or hell, 2-week early access, something just insane for $120, and a lot of people will do it. I'm calling it now, like millions and millions and millions and millions of people will do it. Do you think Game Pass will try to pick up GTA 6, sell early access for $35? To get GTA 6 on Game Pass day one would require billions, maybe $1 billion, at least $1 billion, I think. Because we saw, I think they said there were those leaks that came out during the FTC stuff, and we saw a sheet of what the expected price was going to be in order to buy exclusivity from some of these games. And what was fascinating is that some of the games, like, they were expecting to only need to pay $5 million, I think it was, to get Baldur's Gate 3 on Game Pass day one. And of course, they didn't lock it down because they didn't think Baldur's Gate 3 would be that big of a hit. Nobody did. But one game that they did expect to be a huge hit was Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League. And they expected to need to pay $250 million for that to come to Game Pass. It's a lot. It's a big chunk of change. So, do they do the same thing with GTA 6? I think for GTA 6, much bigger than even Suicide Squad. I think that probably is going to be like $1 billion plus title. As for whether that's profitable is a big question. I mean, the value to customers would be massive. I think Game Pass subscriptions would skyrocket, especially if they do something like that where it's like $120 for early access. But if you do it through Game Pass, it's only $50 or something. I could see that being a huge deal and people jumping on that. So we'll see. But I would not put it past them to do something really aggressive like that. As much as I dislike microtransactions, etc., I guess I'd say it's a necessary evil when you're throwing, what, $500 million on undoubtedly the most expensive game in history. And when all is said and done with marketing, they're probably close to $1 billion. Like, they've spent so much money on this. So much. Could GTA 6 disappoint, do you think? For some, yeah. I've seen some people, like, what's that guy's name? The YouTuber that puts out all the insane GTA stuff. Like, this guy is one of the most sad and pathetic creators on the platform. And I don't say that to be, like, insulting. I say it because he, for a decade, basically, has been posting all of these videos. Grand Theft Auto 6, the countdown starts. Grand Theft Auto 6 trailer details, what is going on? GTA 6 early access beta banned. Like, all of this stuff that is just like fake thumbnails of the trailer and logo. It's just sad. Like, and this goes back months and months and years of just the same thumbnail, same thing over and over and over again. And it's just sad. It's just sad. And some of the stuff that he and people like him have been doing and saying for years has been that, like, Grand Theft Auto 6 is going to have a real-time custody battle system where if you have unprotected intercourse with a strange lady of the night, you can have a child and be forced to take a paternity test and then pay alimony every month in game unless you can settle in court with your baby mama. And like, they'll just make stuff up. They just make stuff up. And that, like, there are 30, 50, 60,000 people out there that watch their stuff and are like, oh, that's smart. Oh, that's interesting. It's a good mechanic. Like, not thinking about it critically at all. Just like, oh, yes, that totally makes sense. And they'll say it with full confidence. Like, so I was being facetious and kind of making stuff up with that baby mama system. But the one I've heard said, I'm not sure if it was Mr. for the win or whatever, but I did hear it in a TikTok from a GTA creator. And he was saying that it's been confirmed that there will be a CCTV system in Grand Theft Auto 6 that will track your movements. So if you want to avoid the cops, you have to manually place something over your license plate or change your license plate before going on a runaway to avoid police detection, because every police car will also have license plate scanners, and in real time they can peruse and patrol the city to make sure that that license plate is not actively out there and all this stuff. And I'm like, none of this is confirmed. You're just saying stuff. You're right. Mafia 2 had that where you had to swap out your license plate when you stole a car. It's a really simple system. Like, if you have the license plate, detection levels are here. If you change the license plate, detection levels are here. It's super easy to implement that if you have a good police system. Like, not that difficult. But to say it's confirmed is just insane. Like, and the CCTV system. Like that, no, that's not been confirmed. You're just saying stuff. As long as we're playing the make crap up game, I guess we can all play and we can all win. Yeah, that baby mama system I described will also be in the game. You know, it's just like, what are we doing? What are we doing? Ladies and gentlemen, what are we doing? Yeah, if you commit a crime on GTA 6, police will come to your actual house and arrest you. You'll be charged with actual murder and you will go to prison for the rest of your life. Make sure to like and subscribe today. I'm Casey Miller. And as long as I've been around, people have been telling me, dear Casey, you need to get that Audible chocolate on the airwaves. The problem is we all think the same rock star from 10 years ago is still here today. You're all in for a world of hurt. Well, so I think it is very healthy to be skeptical of everything. But there's a difference between skepticism and cynicism. That's the key understanding, okay? Being cynical is just blindly dismissing pretty much everything writ large. I don't think that's the right way to use that term, but dismissing like everything.